And then last but not least, position-wise, the wide receiver room, obviously led off with Stefon Diggs, Gabe Davis, Khalil Shakir, Isaiah McKenzie, and then down the stretch here, we added in Cole Beasley and John Brown back into the mix. And then Jamison Crowder and Jake Kumaro, who spent most of the season injured. I think the top names here are pretty obvious. And we'll go to the poll before we get into it. 51% of you had the position as an A, 44% as a B, and 5% came in at C. And I think I would fall somewhere in like the B minus range. I don't think I'm quite willing to go C with a group with Stefon Diggs on it. That gives you an automatic boost. He's an absolute stud. But I think it's something we talked about all year, that we weren't really getting enough production from the ancillary weapons. I was encouraged by Khalil Shakir his play down the stretch. Somebody that I was hoping to see more from all throughout the season. I think that was kind of a missed opportunity because he was getting... It's not that he wasn't getting his snaps throughout the season. He just wasn't really targeted all that much and getting a ton of opportunities. Well, down the stretch, he starts getting his opportunities, and we saw, some rookie pains in there and whatnot. I think that's something that could have been mitigated a little bit by having him have more opportunities throughout the season. Gabe Davis is a player that I continue to love, but I think we kind of, and I say we here, organizationally, I think we put too much faith in him being able to take a step and be a true number 2 receiver. I think that's an area where this team can improve, and I love having Gabe Davis around in a wide receiver 3 or 4 role. For how much this team loves passing the ball, I think Diggs is the only receiver on this current roster that was able to get just consistent separation and consistently be open. Gabe Davis is great with that down the field, off script type of play, and I think that type of player can thrive with a true number 2 on the outside. Defenders, their top 2 cornerbacks got to pay attention to Stefon Diggs and whoever that other guy would be, and it kind of leaves Davis open to make those secondary plays. Now, what that means for his contract going forward, he's still on his rookie deal. I think he's going to be a player that probably down the line we end up losing because somebody's going to see his playoff production and want to take a chance on him, giving him a big contract. That's something that we can deal with in the future. But for the more immediate need, I think we need to bring in somebody that's more of a true number 2 receiver. And I don't think that you're going to be able to do that through free agency, just with the price tag on receivers right now. I think this is a position that needs to be attacked early in the draft and really try to go out and bring in an absolute stud. And I know it's fresh in my mind, but I think about an offense like Cincinnati's that's got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, lining up opposite each other. Well, for these type of game plans where teams' defense is committed to taking Diggs out of the game, if you're taking Chase out of the game, okay, well, now you have to go deal with T. Higgins, playing one-on-one. And I think if you can introduce that into the mix, then it's going to create the opportunities for a Shakir, a Davis down the roster. Isaiah McKenzie is a dude that I absolutely love him as a person. I'm all set with him on the Bills. I think this was similar to the Gabe Davis scenario where we kind of expected him to, get more playing time and be able to consistently produce based on small sample sizes. And I think this year was pretty good evidence of Isaiah McKenzie is who he's been the entire time he's been in the league. He has some electric plays. He's fast. He can make people miss. He's good in the open field. He's got the small catch radius. He's had some drops this season. He's had some ball security issues over the course of his career. In particular, seeing him trying to come in and replace what Cole Beasley did for this team, I think it was asking an awful lot of him, and I feel like we missed the mark on that one. So I think we do need that consistent slot player that can get open underneath. I think we were really missing that this year, and it led to a lot of the shot plays on like 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. That used to be, to quote Circling the Wagons podcast, that used to be 3rd and Cole. He was always open. You give him an option route, and it really helped keep the chains moving and keep this offense on schedule. Now, I do think Jamison Crowder was brought in to fill that role more than it was expected to be McKenzie. Is that him going forward? It's hard to say with Crowder because we didn't see a ton from him. It seemed like early in the season, him and Josh weren't really on the same page, and then obviously suffers the injury, ended his season. Do they bring him back for another 1-year deal to see if he is that guy? I'm not sure. I know that position needs to be shored up. For me, I saw a good amount from Shakir this year that I liked, that I would be comfortable with a top 4 being Diggs, a number 2 that you draft or bring in free agency, Shakir and Davis. I think that could be an electric top 4. I wouldn't mind bringing a guy like Crowder back for, some special teams ability and kind of a veteran that you could trust in certain situations. I'm not confident saying that he is the answer at slot just because we didn't really get to see him play with the Bills at all. And then rounding out this group was obviously bringing back Cole Beasley, John Brown, and also having Jake Kumaro there, who spent a good amount of the time this season injured. And Beasley was able to come back in down the stretch here and make small but meaningful contributions. Is it something where he feels like he still has it in the tank and wants to play another year? I don't think we'll know that answer just yet. If he's the type of player that we can kind of keep around on the practice squad and play with his elevations and see if we want to have him on the active roster, I don't hate the idea of him being around to compete in training camp and kind of let it go between Shakir, maybe Crowder, maybe somebody else in Beasley, and see who comes away with that job through training camp. Whether or not that will happen, I'm not sure. I would lean towards no. I think we'll probably either see Crowder come back or try taking a shot at somebody else and kind of giving Shakir more opportunity. And then John Brown, obviously a touchdown in one target, one catch, one touchdown in game down the stretch. I think he's fun to have back in the building. I don't think he's any short-term or long-term answer to needs that we have in the passing game. And then wrap up with Jake Kumaro. I've loved what he's brought to the team for special teams. He's been okay at times when kind of pressed into action due to injuries at receiver. This is another one of those kind of special teams only guy that might stick around, might not. I'd be okay moving on from him. I would rather see some investments in young receivers that you expect to contribute on special teams and kind of let some of these aging veterans go that really only contribute on special teams.